The hum of my generator was a constant soundtrack to my life in Lekki. Another late night, another chapter of tax codes and auditing principles blurring before my eyes. My head pounded, not just from the exhaustion, but from the weight of everything. Grad school, CPA exams, the endless pressure to succeed. It was suffocating. I felt like I was drowning, and the worst part? I could not tell Amaka. I just could not. My phone buzzed. It was her. A sweet, simple text. Hey, thinking of you. Done with studies yet? My thumb hovered over the keyboard. I needed to say, baby, I am dying here. I need space to focus. But what came out was a cut. Still busy. Long night. I knew it sounded cold. I felt it instantly. Her reply was shorter, colder. Oh, okay. Good night then. That okay hit me like a physical blow. The silence that followed was louder than any fight. That night, sleep was a stranger. Guilt, fear, and the sheer magnitude of my unsaid struggles kept me wide awake, staring at the ceiling, wondering if I would just pushed away the only person who mattered. The next few days were a blur of caffeine and textbook pages. I woke up with the sun, studied through the day, and crashed late at night. Amaka would call, sometimes. I would answer, my responses clicked, my mind still on the intricate details of accounting standards. She would suggest a movie night or dinner at a new spot in Victoria Island. Each time, a pang of guilt, then the same cold response. Cannot, Amaka. I really need to focus. I was not trying to be hurtful. I just felt this crushing weight, this urgency to pass these exams. My future, my family's hopes, it all depended on this. I saw her face in my mind, the way her smile faded a little more each time. I felt her pulling back, a slow, painful withdrawal. I saw the texts getting shorter, the calls less frequent. Each time she distanced herself, a knot tightened in my chest, but I was paralyzed. I kept telling myself, just pass these exams, Chike. Then everything will be okay. But deep down, I knew it would not. This was not just about exams anymore. My inability to express myself, to truly open up, was not new. It was a scar, a habit ingrained from years ago. I remembered my father always telling me to be strong, to be a man, never to show weakness. And then there were the disappointments, the betrayals from past friends, even a previous relationship that ended badly because I could not articulate my feelings. Each time, I would retreat it further into myself. It was easier to shoulder the burden alone, I thought, than to risk rejection or disappointment. I would build walls so high, even Amaka, with her infectious laughter and genuine warmth, struggled to climb them. I stood on the rooftop of my apartment building in Surulere, the Lagos sunset painting the sky in fiery hues of orange and purple. The city's hums surrounded me, a symphony of distant traffic and the drone of countless generators. Yet, I felt utterly alone, isolated within my own mind. I wanted to reach out, to tear down those walls, but the words, they just would not come. What if she saw my struggles, my fears, and decided I was not worth it? The thought was terrifying. So, I stayed silent, letting the distance between us grow, echoing the unspoken pains of my past. The silence from Amaka became deafening. Days turned into a week. No calls, no texts. My heart sank deeper with each passing hour. I tried to focus on my books, but her absence was a gaping hole in my routine, in my mind. I would pick up my phone 100 times, type out a message, then delete it. What would I even say? Sorry for being a jerk. I am stressed, please understand. It felt weak, like an excuse. One afternoon, I saw a picture on her Instagram. She was at a new restaurant, laughing with friends. She looked beautiful, vibrant, happy, and I was not there. A sharp pang of jealousy, then a heavier wave of self-reproach. See, Chike, I told myself, she is moving on. You pushed her away. The thought was agonizing. I loved her, truly, but my fear of vulnerability was stronger, keeping me trapped in this cycle of silence and regret. The gap between us felt like a chasm now, too wide to bridge. I just wish she knew how much I was struggling, how much I still cared. But how could she? when I had not given her a single clue. One evening, I met Segun for some suya on the Yaba bridge. He is my oldest friend. We have known each other since Unailag. He took one look at my face and shook his head. Chike, wetin dey happen? You look like person wey see ghost. I mumbled something about the CPA, the stress. He listened, chewing his suya slowly. Then he said, Omo, I know say exam hard, but your eye no there for book, na Amaka. What can you do to her? I told him everything, the miscommunication, my inability to open up, the fear. He dropped his suya stick. Chike, you don't understand women? When them silent na big wahala be that oh. You go just sit down there, they let your fear chop you. I beg, go talk to her. Tell her everything. If she truly loves you, she go understand. His words were a splash of cold water. He was right. My fear was consuming me, making me push away the very thing I cherished. The smoky air, the chatter of vendors, the blare of downfall horns, it all faded into the background. Segun's blunt honesty pierced through my self-pity. Go and fight for your relationship, my guy, he urged. No? Let pride or fear ruin something good. The next morning, I faced my worst fear, a mock CPA exam. I sat there, pencil in hand, but my mind was blank. The questions blurred. The weight of Amaka's silence, Segun's words, and my own mounting pressure crashed down on me. I tried to focus, I really did, but every calculation, every accounting principle felt impossible. When the results came back, it was worse than I imagined. A dismal score, a crushing failure. I stared at the paper, crumpled it in my fist. This was not just about the exam anymore. It was about everything. My self-worth, my ability to handle pressure, my relationship. I had let everything crumble. The rain outside the Union Lake Library window mirrored my internal storm. It was a sign, a harsh, undeniable truth. If I did not fix this now, I would lose everything. The exam, Amaka, myself. The choice was clear. I had to face my fears, not just the exams, but the fear of being vulnerable, the fear of losing her because of my own silence. I stood up, abandoning the crumpled paper, and walked out into the rain. It was time to go find Amaka. Finding a cab at that hour in Lekki was a struggle. The streets were wet from the earlier downpour, the air thick with exhaust, and the smell of wet earth. My heart pounded a frantic rhythm against my ribs, matching the relentless beat of the car wipers. Each passing downfall bus, each honking Chike, felt like an obstacle in my race against time. I called Amaka, but her phone went straight to voicemail. Panic set in. What if she was not home? What if she did not want to see me? The thought was unbearable. We finally crossed the third mainland bridge, the city lights shimmering on the water, but I barely noticed. My mind was a whirlwind of what ifs and rehearsed apologies. My destination was her family home in Surulere, a place that always felt warm and welcoming, but tonight it felt like enemy territory. My palms were sweaty, my throat dry. Just tell her the truth. The cab eventually pulled up outside her gate. The street was quiet, save for a few distant generators. This was it. The moment of truth. I knocked, my knuckles feeling weak. After a long moment, the door opened a crack. It was Amaka, her eyes wide with surprise, then hardening with a familiar hurt. Chike? She asked, her voice low, guarded. Waiting you they do ya? I looked at her, truly looked at her, and the weight of my mistakes pressed down. Amaka, please. Can we talk? Just for a minute. Her gaze flickered, a battle of emotions playing out on her face. Then, slowly, she opened the door wider, stepping back to let me in. The living room was softly lit, smelling faintly of her mother's stew. I sat on the edge of the couch, my hands clasped, my heart hammering. She remained standing, arms crossed, a silent sentinel of her pain. The air was thick, heavy with unspoken words. I know I messed up, I started, my voice barely a whisper. I know I hurt you. But please, just listen to me. Give me a chance to explain. It was the hardest thing I would ever had to say. Admitting my fault, asking for grace. Her expression remained unreadable. But at least she was listening. That was a start. I took a deep breath, the air catching in my throat. Amaka, I started again, my voice trembling. It is not you. It was never you. I I have been drowning. Drowning in stress from these CPA exams, from grad school, and from things in my past, family expectations, past hurts that taught me to just shut down when things get tough. I looked up, meeting her eyes. I was so scared, so overwhelmed that I could not find the words. I did not want to seem weak. I did not want to disappoint you. So, I pushed you away when all I really wanted was your understanding. I saw a flicker of something in her eyes, not anger, but a deep sadness, and perhaps a hint of recognition. Every time you asked for time for a break, I saw it as a distraction. I was so afraid of failing these exams, of failing everyone, that I stopped seeing you. I stopped seeing us. And I am so sorry. The words tumbled out, raw and honest. It was painful, exposing my fears, but a strange lightness began to settle over me. I had finally said it. The truth. The full, messy truth. Amaka finally sat down opposite me, her eyes still holding a mix of pain and understanding. Chike, she said, her voice soft but firm. I was so hurt. I thought you did not care anymore. I thought I was a burden. I was ready to give up on us. My heart sank, but she continued. But hearing you say this, hearing the truth, it makes a difference. She paused, then reached out, gently taking my hand. I understand the pressure you are under. I know these exams are important to you. I just wish you had told me sooner. I could have supported you, Chike. I do not want you to carry all that weight alone. A wave of relief washed over me, so potent it almost brought tears to my eyes. It was not an instant fix. The hurt was still there in both of us. But her touch, her words of understanding, were a balm to my raw nerves. We talked for a long time, not just about the exams, but about our fears, our expectations. We shared a genuine connection, a bond that had been strained but was now slowly, tentatively beginning to mend. It was a promise of a future, a pledge to face challenges together, with open hearts and honest words. I left Amaka's place that night feeling lighter than I had in months. The Lagos night air, usually filled with exhaust and generator fumes, felt crisp and fresh. The CPA exams were still daunting, a massive mountain to climb, but now I did not feel so alone at its base. Knowing Amaka understood, knowing she was still in my corner, changed everything. I returned to my apartment, the stacks of textbooks no longer looking like insurmountable obstacles. I sat at my desk, not to study immediately, but to look at a photo of Amaka and me, smiling, arm in arm. Her understanding was a new kind of fuel. The fear had not vanished completely, but it was overshadowed by a burgeoning sense of hope. I knew the journey ahead would be tough, but I also knew that facing my vulnerabilities, especially with the person I loved, was a far greater strength than any silent struggle could ever be. The dawn was breaking, casting soft, golden light into my room. A new day, a fresh start, not just for my studies but for us. That experience taught me a profound lesson. True strength is not about enduring silently. It is about having the courage to be vulnerable, to share your struggles, and to trust the people who love you. The CPA journey was still tough, but with Amaka by my side, with her support and my newfound ability to communicate, it felt achievable. We learned to navigate the stress together. Some evenings, she would just sit quietly with me while I studied, her presence a comforting anchor. Other times, she would drag me out for a quick boli and groundnut, forcing me to take a much needed break. It was not perfect. No relationship ever is, especially not under the Lagos hustle and CPA pressure. But we were stronger for it. We built a bridge of honest communication across the chasm my fear had created. And in that vulnerability, we found a deeper, more resilient love. I realized that the greatest success was not just passing my exams, but learning how to truly connect, how to truly be seen, and how to hold on to the people who matter most.